contributions to the growth in unrecorded ways, and
equity, diversity, and inclusion are powerful driving forces today that are having a wide range impact on our country. As members of families, civic and community groups, business and legislative bodies, women are in the forefront of reassessing the status quo.
And whereas women from the past and present have taken the lead to show the importance of change and to establish firmer safeguards, practices, and legislation reflecting these values. And whereas in 1987, Congress declared the entire month of March as Women's History Month.
Now, therefore, we, James R. Knight Jr., Mayor of Hopkinsville, and Jerry Gilliam, Christian County Judge Executive, along with the Human Rights Commission and the women serving in local government, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Women's History Month in Hopkinsville and Christian County, Kentucky, and call upon all citizens to recognize and support this year's theme, Leading the Change, Women Shaping a Sustainable Future. Together, we celebrate the contributions of women who are leading sustainability efforts across environmental, economic, educational, and social justice movements. This theme combines community resilience, multi-generational equity, and fostering systems that support both people and the planet. And it is signed by both the mayor and the judge, and we're happy to be part of Women's History Month.
Calling the March 3rd regular city council meeting to order. As you can see, I'm not Mayor Knight. He's attending the Kentucky Citizens for Fort Campbell event in Washington, D.C. This evening. Next on the agenda, we have invocation by Ward 4, Councilmember Crabtree.
Please join me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day. As we go through this evening, let us, doing the business of the city of Hopkinsville, help us make wise and informed decisions. Look over the citizens of this community. Also, as we go forward, just remember that our country has a lot of soldiers, airmen, Marines, and others in harm's way. Let's just keep them in our prayers and wish for and pray for a positive outcome. Just guide us and direct us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We can have a roll call. Clerk, if you call the roll.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Stallings. Present. Councilmember Marsh.
Here.
Councilmember Crabtree.
Here.
Councilmember Craig.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Sumner. Councilmember Meek. Councilmember Bogard.
Present.
Councilmember Velez.
Here.
Councilmember Bell.
Here.
Councilmember Drab.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Next item is awards and recognitions. We don't have any awards and recognition tonight, so we move on to item 6, public comments. If anyone has public comment they would like to make, if so, you state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes to speak.
First of all, I was glad to see the mayor and council recognize women for the month of March. Since I'm the oldest one in the room, I doubly appreciate it. But that's not why I'm here tonight. Oh, thank you. The reason I'm here tonight is I'm requesting, and I'm sorry, I did not realize Edmund Street was going to be changed to one way. For 38 years, I have hoped it would be one way. I live on the corner of South Main and Edmonds. The reason I'm requesting a change in direction is because our very wide school buses, which are 8.5 to 10 feet wide plus 2 feet on either side, which is 14 feet width, the 2 feet extras for the mirrors. They're very wide. Our trash pickup trucks, the very large truck with the boom, a fire truck, which I hope we never have to have. Utility trucks are all 8.5 to 10 feet wide, but especially the school buses, which need a wide arc to turn because they are between 50 and 75 feet long. They've always come off of Canton Street onto Edmund Street. The trash pickup service has always come from Canton Street on Edmonds, traveling towards South Main. I simply would hope that you would drive the street and pretend like you're 10 feet wide when you turn from South Main when you go home tonight and turn on to Edmonds. And then I would hope that you would turn around in Dr. Chavda's parking lot or wherever you want to turn around and go from Canton Street on Edmonds back out to Main. And I think you will understand what the problem could be. So I'm most respectfully and most sorry that I did not realize that you had had the second reading, but it doesn't mean it can't be changed because the signs are not up yet. So please consider changing the direction. Keep it one way, but please consider changing the direction. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Jones. I'm representing me and my family. We are landowners in Hopkinsville. You might be familiar with the land. We have property off of Dawson Springs Road. It's actually on the old Buttermilk Road. It's across from the old Save-A-Lot. So we've had this property in our family for 137 years. My great-grandmother bought this property from Ben Wood. My great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, and my great-great-auntie bought this property from Ben Wood in the 1800s. And so we've had this property all this time. We've lived up there, my family lived up there, my uncle, who's over there with us, he's lived there all his life, my cousin. We have, they grew up there. They did everything they possibly could as children. My uncle took care of this property that's up there all his life because his mother told him that she wanted him to take care of the property and keep that property cleaned off and taken care of for the family. So he's been doing it all these years, you know, and as the family we're here. But the situation has come up that we have the road that's the old Buttermilk Road. We have it's a historical landmark. It's a historical landmark, and it's very important for our family to have access to that. So at this time, the road that we have up there is not being taken care of, maintained. Okay, so I know the city is saying that it's not a part of maintaining in their city. So I'm going to slow down a little bit because I'm being a little nervous here tonight. But I want to explain to you that road is very important. And I want to go over, our family has been owners of that property for 137 years. The old Buttermilk Road and the land tracts are adjoined or near the historical landmarks in Hopkinsville. As some of you might already know, the history of the old Buttermilk Road was originally established by the American Indians, who endured the Trail of Tears. The road was later renamed Buttermilk Road, and later the old Buttermilk Road that ran through Hopkinsville became Route 6 for mailing and delivery postal services. In addition to the Trail of Tears, the area of land historically housed a Negro school. It was called Fork of the Road School. Now, this school has also been documented in deeds, old newspapers, and old court roads. Members of my family attended the school, and even one of my uncles who's still living today attended that school. The school provided education to many Negro children residents in the town of Hopkinsville, and I have cousins that remember playing in that schoolhouse. So that this area of land is not just land to us, it's our legacy. It's a historical landmark. So, and the reason I want to share this history, a little history of this road is because at this time, like I said, the road has not been taken care of. The old Buttermilk Road in that particular part of the city is a city road, which is the same road as the Dink Embry's Buttermilk Road, where WHOP is located. They are the same road and always has been. Unfortunately, at some point in history, the town of Hopkinsville was racially divided, segregated town, and the town was willing to take care of the white taxpayers' road and neglected the other part of the road, which was mostly where the Negro people lived. So when you look in the books and they say, well, we never maintained that property or never maintained that road, that is one of the reasons why that road is not in the books for the city of Hopkinsville that has been maintained. So, you know, and today, like I said, the road has been there. We have always had an in and out. When the Dawson Spring Road was made, they kind of cut off the old Buttermilk Road, but we still had an in and out. We still had the old Buttermilk Road, but we had an in and out on both sides connecting to the Dawson Springs Road. Now, if you go up there today, you wouldn't be able to see that road because it's covered with, you know, all kind of bushes and trees and everything, but it's still there. And at this point, there is an attempt to try to landlock us in to prevent us from access to our property. And I don't want that to happen because that is our land and we have a right to have access to our land.
Excuse me, Ms. Jones. The 5 minutes is up.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. That's fine. But I would just like the city to know to please consider including that road in your maintenance and your schedule for cleaning up, because it is a public road.
Hello, I'm Rose Jackson. I'm gonna withhold my address because I found out that y'all's addresses and phone numbers are no longer on the website, so I'm gonna withhold my address. I just have a question in regards to the Greenway. I didn't realize that that was part of something that was coming up. I'm currently undecided in regards to the phase 3 of the Greenway expansion because I see both sides. I see the quality of life, plus I also see the extra money that's gonna have to go into it to take care of it long term. I understand that there's a grant. There's a grant that's coming in for the city for the Greenway. I also understand that $1.29 million of local funds has to be matched in order for us to get that $5 million grant. So my question is, what are the long-term maintenance costs? Where will that money come from? Is there a reserve for that $1.29 million to come out of? Or will it come from taxpayers? Of course, I know that it's gonna come from taxpayers some type, form or way, but that's my question. And also, what's the long-term cost of maintaining it? Because I know that the 1.29 million is just for the construction. That doesn't include the lawn care, keep up of it, the maintenance, the repair of it. So that's my questions on that. And I have one last statement. It's been brought to my attention that several of the council members didn't like being held accountable at the last council meeting, which is fine. I mean, I understand that. I can understand that where y'all sit, sometimes it's a hard place to sit. But at the same time, you guys ran for that seat. And being held accountable should be something that you push forward to. If you don't want to be held accountable, come up out of that seat. And for the ones of y'all that tried contacting the board of my job to get me fired, do better.
How you doing? I'm back again. It's Waffy God Hotel, 131 Westbrook Circle. And I would like to enter for the record, the city council meeting held January the 18th, 2025, where they discussed the Lot Next Door program. Okay, I mean, I could play it for you, but I want to reclaim my time.
Give you an update on where we are with that now. So how we started, the priorities, policies, and procedures were created in 2020 from an idea based on Mr. Body's knowledge of some of the programs that were happening in New Orleans, in New Orleans. The action plan was created in October 2020. You guys decided it was important enough to throw some money in it in 2021, and the program was launched in July of 2021. And you guys brought me in, CDS hired me, and we began the program there. In July of 2023, almost a year to the date, and I know that because I hit my one-year evaluation this morning.
Look how long this program been going on.
At the city,
the Lot Next Door.
The program began to be administered here. So the goal of the Lot Next Door program, as a lot of you guys know, is to bring these vacant lots back into productive status, tax generating status, and not only just to cure the eyesore that the properties bring, but also to alleviate the issues that come along with them, such as public safety and how they diminish property values. It also frees up our public works department to do more important things than mowing yards. And it also helps to beautify the community and motivate community involvement in local government initiatives. I can say personally that it feels good to be a part of a program that helps incentivize people taking care of their property, and even bigger, that incentive being a piece of land that can stay with them for generations as long as they take care of it.
She's gonna talk about how it works.
I had it going on for a second.
And this brochure is not.
Okay, the way we do
brochure
this,
when I signed up.
an eligible participant and how eligibility is defined, the person must be a property owner and owe no back taxes and liens on the property that they own. And the property that they're interested in has to touch the property. So it can be next door, it can back into the property, but it has to touch. So lot next door, not across the street at the time. The person submits their information and also a $25 initial fee. Once that is received, I begin to do an assessment on the property, finding errors, if any, finding the lien amounts, back taxes, and also reaching out with the donation option agreement between the potential property owner and the land bank authority, because through the land bank authority, they are able to extinguish those back taxes and liens in order to create a clear title for us to be able to transfer the property to somebody new. There's a $175 fee before we begin the acquisition process. If we're not able to get the property on behalf of the participant, then that money can be refunded, but the initial $25 is not refundable. Once the property is in the name of the land bank, then we enter into a sweat equity contract for a year with the participant. They take care of the property as if it was their own, no new code violations on the property, and once that's successful and they've complied, then we deed over that property to that participant.
Now, not one time did she say, not one time did she say that this was supposed to go to the land bank and then go up for auction. Now, I talked to you the last time Troy Body talked to you and Ms. Bogart, and I got with you. They contacted me with Mr. Doug Willen, and this is the letter I got from you. Mr. Hotel, we filed a foreclosure lawsuit against the property owners to foreclose on the city liens. The court granted judgment for the city and ordered a public sale. This matter was referred to, I reclaim my time. The court granted judgment.
Sorry about that.
I reclaim my time. I'm playing y'all something. I'm entering it for the record. So I'm reclaiming my time. Okay. Court granted judgment for the city, a public sale. This matter is referred to the property will be sold at a public auction on March 9th. Now, why is the property being sold and she didn't mention none of that in the beginning?
Mr. Willing to meet with you, but your time up, Mr. Hoptep. I just how the rules are. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna look up there.
Any more public comments?
Yeah, I have public comment.
You only can speak once, Mr. Hoptep.
Huh?
You only can speak once for 5 minutes.
Hey, for one, this whole situation is messed up. Y'all said one thing, then I thought that the city attorney, he talked about it going up for auction. She never once mentioned that it was going in the land bank to go for auction. Watch it, if I already paid my $175, I've entered into the split equity program. So after 12 months, the lot will be mine, you don't need him.
Next is mayor comments. There are any mayor comments, so we'll move on to item number 8, reports from officers, committees, and guest speakers. And we have Mr. Mac Major and Lee Conrad with Higgins Insurance.
Good evening. My name is Mac Major. I'm with Higgins Insurance, and it's my privilege to have guided the city of Hopkinsville for the past 25 years with its benefit program. And I'm going to be brief tonight. There's great news to report. I know the last few times I've been here, it's not been so good. As you all will recall, the city's health insurance renewal is on a calendar year basis, not a fiscal year basis. So we just concluded the annual renewal process for the benefit program that took effect obviously January 1. As we do in every year, we go to the market. We go to the traditional insurance market to make certain that self-funding still makes sense. And when we went through that process, traditional insurance was about $1 million higher. So it made absolutely no sense to do that. But one thing that we did do at renewal that was a good move, when we marketed the reinsurance or the stop loss coverage for the city of Hopkinsville's health insurance program, we transitioned that from Anthem to Voya, an A+ rated carrier, and it saved the city of Hopkinsville about $101,000 of premium dollars. So that gave us a huge leg up as we entered into 2026. Now, here's the good news. If we'll turn the slide, our claims cost in the 2025 plan year improved significantly. Our claims cost came down about 28% when we compare it to the previous year, which is phenomenal. What's driving that? Basically, the number of large claimant activity that we had in the last 12-month period was down about $635,000, which is huge. Hospital claims were down, outpatient claims were down. Our pharmacy program, our pharmacy costs trended downward about 14%, which is in today's climate quite extraordinary. A lot of that has to do, which is a good thing and a bad thing. The good news is it comes rebates just because the cost of drugs are too high. So good news, bad news. But if you look at the fixed costs and the claims costs for 2025, the net total cost was down about 14% compared to 2024. Our 2025 costs were as low as they've been in the past 5 years, which is awesome. The downside is we still underfunded the plan about $70, which based upon the current participation on an annual basis would hit into the deficit about $210,000 over a 12-month period. If you'll turn the slide, as we ended the plan year in 2025, we ended with a $639,000 surplus. Been great stewards of the money. So that's good. The next slide. In January, we took a slight reduction in that surplus down to $625,000. As you approach the budget for the next fiscal year, if we trend like we have been over the past 12 months into the next 4 to 5 months, that health trust balance is probably going to be around $500,000. And I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. $500,000 is really the floor or the minimum that we need. Number one, the cost of care typically doesn't go down, it goes up. So we like to build in some cushion to manage increases over the course of time. And then the other big reason you want to have surplus is if there ever becomes a time where the city decides to exit the self-funded space, you want to have adequate assets or resources to pay those run-out costs that are associated with our program. And that's probably about $400,000 if I looked at it. If we ended that plan at the end of this past contract period, that's about what the exit cost would be. So as we look into the budget cycle upcoming, if some additional funds could be put into the health plan, that certainly would protect that surplus that you all have worked so hard to build. If you'll hit the next slide, and I think this is really important. For 10 plus years, I have sort of created this benchmarking or local cost benefit contribution analysis comparison of other local public employers in this town. And I've tracked cost, how your cost compares to other public employers, what your benefit plans look like compared to other benefit plans in town, and what the contribution strategy is in town. And the cost up at the top, $1,048, that's the cost per employee per month for the city of Hopkinsville. If you look at your peer groups to the right, you are about 26%. The cost of the city's plan is 26% below the average of those 5 peer groups, which is awesome. So I've said this we don't have a cost problem when we compare ourselves to others. The benefits, those percentages in the 82, 87, that scores, the closer you are to 100, the richer your plan of benefits are. So not only is the city a low-cost plan, its benefits are as good or better than anybody's in town. So that's something to be proud of. And then finally, down at the bottom, it's just a contribution approach. The city of Hopkinsville is funding about 84% of the plan costs. Employees are contributing about 16%. Well, if you compare that to some of the peer groups in town, what the employees are asking to contribute to the health plan is a little higher than what some of the peer groups are. So the city's been very, very fortunate in that its costs are very, very competitive, but we just have to be cognizant of that and very protective of that surplus that we've built over the course of time. So the good news is our claims costs are very favorable today, and I hope that trend continues. But I do want to protect that surplus at all costs. Any questions? Perfect. So I hope to report good news next time as well. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. My name is Lee Conrad. I'm fortunate enough to work with you all on your property and casualty insurance program. The good news is for everybody here, I think everybody has heard something along these sorts at least once. So I will be brief. This has been a year of transition for the property and casualty insurance for the city. We made the move after 8 years with Tokyo Marine Insurance to the Kentucky League of Cities. So we're about 7 or 8 months into that. And so far, so good. I think the service has been okay. It's been good. We've had a relatively good claims experience with them so far. And I believe that the transition has gone as smooth as could be expected. In terms of what we're seeing in the marketplace, as you all know, property and casualty insurance, whether it's your homeowners, your business owner's policy, or even a city's insurance policy, the trend has been tough because of really every single factor that you all face as a risk. Our property insurance has been under a lot of stress because of our weather. We've all experienced that. The liability climate in Kentucky and nationally has been a challenge. And then for no matter what kind of business or entity you are, and then specifically for cities or anybody who has a law enforcement body, it's not gone particularly well for them in particular because of the lawsuits involving police officers. And that's a national trend. It's not just something specific to Kentucky. So what we are seeing, though, is we are seeing some stabilizing in the marketplace for both property insurance and municipal. Property insurance in particular is flattening. The cost curve is flattening from pretty drastic increases. And also conditions, we're seeing improvement in that as well. And so as we approach renewal in July with the Kentucky League of Cities, we hope to see more modest pricing. I'm not going to make any promises that it could be better, but we don't expect to see the upward trajectory that we've seen the last 6 or 7 years or so. So if you look here kind of to reflect that point, if you go back one, you'll see over the last 7 years, pretty significant increases in your property and casualty insurance. Workers' compensation has gone the other direction. We've seen both on a macro level and then with you all as a risk for workers' compensation, an improvement in that. Your all safety program is working. Your mod rate, which you've heard me talk about before, that's that number on the far right there. It says mod 108, 106, 99, so on and so forth. That's a comparison of you all to your peers in Kentucky. So other governmental entities, other entities that would have a fire department, a police department, public works department. That's how you all compare to your peers in terms of your risk rating, for lack of a better term. If you're over a 1, that means your claims tend to be a little bit more than the average group with the type of work you all do. If you're under a 1, that means you trend in a better direction or lower claims cost. And that factor actually directly affects your premium. And so because you all have operated a safe work environment, it's helped save you all money for your workers' compensation insurance. So hats off to everybody, you all, the mayor, and your leadership team for helping embrace a safe work environment. Cyber liability, the last piece of that, again, if you had heard me up here 3 or 4 years ago, I would have looked like the Grim Reaper saying the world was going to end. But because of all those things that we do that get on our nerves, have to take out your cell phone, put in the 5-digit code to multi-factor authentication, that's helped to drastically reduce those claims. And so the insurance marketplace in turn has improved, and you all have actually seen a reduction in those premiums. Furthermore, on the workers' compensation, this is just an illustration of where you all are in terms of claims. Back during COVID, everybody had crazy low claims numbers. Everybody worked at home. People didn't drive as much. Things are regressing back to the mean, but you all are still running a very good, safe, no pun intended, tight ship. And so we expect to see the workers' compensation remain stable as well. So with that, Sophia's picture didn't get uploaded in time, and mine is really old, and it's not going to change. And so my children commented the other day about, Dad, your hair's really gray. And I said, that's right. But when I go to the city of Hopkinsville, they're going to see me with dark hair. So any questions, comments, concerns? Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Craig, second by Ms. Bogart. Next item would be we got to vote. Sorry about that. Look, moving too fast. Sorry about that. All in motion? Require a motion. A second. All in favor? Aye. Any nay? It passes. Have to excuse me on that. Next, we move to item 10, ordinance. Call on the clerk to read the ordinance.
An ordinance amending a certain section of Chapter 30 of the Hopkinsville Code of Ordinances pertaining to the Employee Classification and Compensation Plan. Whereas on January 22nd, 2026, the Committee of the Whole forwarded proposed changes to Section 30.02A1, Classification and Compensation pertaining to elected city officers. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, that Section 30.02A1 of the Hopkinsville Code of Ordinances is hereby amended as follows. 30.02 Classification and Compensation. The Classification and Compensation Plan is adopted as set forth herein in accordance with KRS 83A.070. A, elected city officers. 1, the salaries of the following city officers are fixed at the amount set opposite each office. Officers, members of City Council, salaries $15,628.88 per annum for calendar year 2027. Mayor, $95,335.76 per annum for fiscal year 25-26. Section 2, if any section, subsection, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance is held unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, such infirmity shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. Section 3, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect January 1st, 2027, after its passage and publication according to law.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Crabtree, second by Councilmember Craig. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Bell, I would, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say that I did offer an additional amendment to the motion in the last meeting, didn't receive a second, didn't go on. I'm just sorry that we didn't get a chance for the lack of 0.3% to tell all the other workers in the city that they matter to us just as much as we do. And so that's really my only comment. Thank you.
Any other discussion? As a clerk, do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Marsh,
No.
Councilmember Crabtree,
Yes.
Councilmember Craig,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Sumner,
No.
Councilmember Bogard,
Yes.
Councilmember Velez.
No.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Drought,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Stallings.
Yes.
That passes on second reading.
Next item be 11 municipal orders. Ask clerk to read municipal order 08-2026 surplus property.
Whereas the attached listed property was purchased for use by the Hopkinsville Police Department, and whereas said items are in need of repair exceeding current value, no longer serviceable for use, and/or of no value to the city in delivering public services. Now therefore be it ordered, Hopkinsville City Council hereby declares the attached listed weapon and other items on the attached list surplus property and authorizes the mayor to dispose of said items by methods available in KRS 65.041 and KRS 82.083.
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Martin, second by Councilmember Sumner. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nay? That passes. On to item B, municipal order 09-2026 guidelines for economic development.
City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky Industrial Incentive Guidelines for Future Industrial Economic Development Projects. Whereas Executive Order 28-2024 established the Economic Development Committee to study issues relating to economic development projects and provide recommendations regarding policies and procedures to Hopkinsville City Council. And whereas the Economic Development Committee researched and studied current economic development policies and presented a report of their findings to Hopkinsville City Council on July 14th, 2025. And whereas Hopkinsville City Council wishes to incorporate the findings of the Economic Development Committee into guidelines for future economic development projects. Now therefore, the Hopkinsville City Council hereby adopts the following guidelines for future industrial economic development projects. 1, the city chief financial officer, the city attorney, and the mayor and a mayor shall serve as a point of contact between the Southwestern Kentucky Economic Development Council and the city of Hopkinsville in all industrial incentive negotiations. 2, the EDC shall receive specific authorization to negotiate and shall not make any offers without specific authorization from the city of Hopkinsville. City council shall be kept appraised of the status of negotiations as needed, and all such negotiations shall be subject to strict confidentiality pursuant to Kentucky law. 3, city council members shall refrain from negotiating or discussing directly any industrial incentive package except through confidential closed session discussions. 4, city council maintains discretion to offer incentives on a case-by-case basis and has the discretion to increase or decrease the standard incentive package based on the particular facts of each industrial development. All incentive offers are subject to city council approval. 5, the city of Hopkinsville may offer a standard incentive package % of the total occupational license fee revenues otherwise derived by the city of Hopkinsville from the salaries, wages, or other compensation paid to new employees in the development district for a period of 10 years after commencement. 6, the city of Hopkinsville may offer a standard incentive package for industrial development based on increased ad valorem tax revenue. Said incentive may include a maximum rate of 50% of the increase in ad valorem tax revenue otherwise derived by the city of Hopkinsville from any increased assessment of the real property owned by the company located within the district for a period of 10 years after commencement. 7, in the event city council exercises its discretion and deviates from the standard incentive package set forth above, all cash or property incentives shall be reduced to writing in the form of a grant agreement and shall be secured with clawback provisions and a mortgage on the real estate in said development district.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Marsh, second by Councilmember Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? That passes. On to item number C, municipal order 10-26 solid waste trucks lease.
Municipal order approving one or more leases for the financing of a project, providing for the payment and security of the lease, authorizing the execution of various documents related to such leases, and making certain designations regarding such leases. Whereas the governing body of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky has power under Section 65.940 et sec of the Kentucky Revised Statutes to enter into lease agreements with or without the option to purchase in order to provide for the use of property for public purposes. And whereas the governing body of the leasee has previously determined and hereby further determines that the leasee is in need of multiple motor vehicles to be utilized by employees and personnel of the leasee, such vehicles to move more specifically identified in each lease hereinafter described. And whereas the governing body has determined and hereby determines that it is in the best interest of the leasee that the leasee enter into one or more lease agreements and collective the leases to be administered by the Kentucky Association of Counties Leasing Trust, and each funded by the bank or financial institution offering the lowest and best interest rate as selected by the leasee for the leasing by the leasee from the lessors of this project. Now therefore be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, recitals and authorization. The leasee hereby approves the lease or leases and all collateral documents to the extent defined and identified in the form lease provided. Each lease is to be executed in substantially the form presented to this governing body. It is hereby found and determined that the project identified in the lease will be the public property to be used for public purposes. It is further determined that it is necessary and desirable and in the best interest of the leasee to enter into a lease for the purpose therein specified, and the execution and delivery of each lease and all representations, certifications, or other matters contained in the closing memorandum with respect to each lease, or may be required by the lessor before delivery of each lease, are hereby approved, ratified, and confirmed. The mayor and city clerk of the leasee are hereby authorized to execute each lease, together with such other agreements and certifications which may be necessary to accomplish the transaction contemplated by the lease. Section 2, administration of the lease. The Kentucky Association of Counties Leasing Trust is hereby acknowledged to be the program administrator under the leases. Section 3, severability. If any section, paragraph, or provision of this municipal order shall be held invalid or unenforceable for any reason, the invalidity of the unenforceability of such section, paragraph, or provision shall not affect the remaining provisions of this municipal order. Section 4, open meetings law. The governing body finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the adoption of this municipal order were taken in an open meeting of this governing body, and that all deliberations of this governing body and its committees, if any, such resulted in formal action, were in meetings open to the public in full compliance with applicable legal requirements. Section 5, conflicts. All ordinances, resolutions, orders, or parts thereof in conflict with the provisions of this municipal order are, to the extent of such conflict, hereby repealed, and the provisions of this municipal order shall prevail and be given effect. Section 6, effective date. This municipal order shall take effect from and after its passage as provided by law.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Craig, second by Councilmember Crabtree.
Mayor, just a question real quick. This is just to approve the process of the lease for the vehicles that we talked about last week, not any more than the 9. Is that correct?
Well, I understood.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Move on to item E. Is that right? Yeah, E. Municipal Order 1226, Economic Development Fund Expenditure.
Skipped one.
I skipped, I was gonna say D. Our Municipal Order 11/2026, Transportation Alternatives Program Grant, Phase 3 of the Hopkinsville Greenway System.
Whereas the City of Hopkinsville has been notified of the availability of grant funds through the Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, a program of the Department of Transportation's Federal Highways Administration and administered by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. And whereas these funds are intended for use towards the design and construction of Phase 3 of the Hopkinsville Greenway System, and whereas the total project cost is estimated at $6,460,834.06, and whereas the grant requirements stipulate a 20% match of funds, now therefore be it ordered, Hopkinsville City Council authorizes 20% matching funds up to $1,292,166.81, and further authorizes the mayor to sign the Transportation Alternatives Program grant documents, memorandum of agreement, and all related documents for design and construction.
Need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Sumner, second by Ms. Bogart. Any discussion?
I have a question. and you may not know the answer, maybe you do, Troy, but when are we gonna take a look at the water park? Because as I see this extends from our existing ending point of the rail trail, and it brings it over to the fire station, stadium. When are we looking to take action on the water park? Does anybody know?
We're gonna wait till the mayor gets back and give you a definitive answer.
Okay. For me, it would be a lot easier to look
I understand.
more serious at this if I knew what was gonna happen to that piece of ground. Got it?
I agree. Is there a deadline on this grant? Okay, that's why. That's why.
If you don't approve it, we can't apply for the grant.
Mayor, or I guess Mayor. I just, real quick, it's a good point, Councilman Crabtree, good question. My thought was, with all the discussions I've heard about the potential of that, whether we keep the water park, we demolish it, turn it into a skating ring, or the 10 other different things we heard the night at the town hall, I think the goal is it is going to be something. So I agree with your first thought.
I do too.
We don't want it to dump into the ballpark, which I guess is okay, there's a ballpark there, but I think from everything, at least I've heard, and even from the community's input, they want something.
Yeah.
And just to kind of briefly touch on some of the lady that spoke a minute ago about the grant money or the trail here, you're right, the upkeep, cameras on it and all that stuff are extra outside of the grant. As I explained to people when they ask me about stuff like that, there is a price to put on quality of life. Same thing with me looking at the water park. I don't know if we should keep it or not. I know every year for about 15 years, we average about 80 days a year open and about 500 people a day, about 35,000 people a year coming through that water park. I also know without all the major maintenance costs, we look at about $100,000 a year loss. Well, is $100,000 acceptable to have something in our community as a quality of life? That's really the decision that I think I have to, like, at least from my perspective, I'm trying to figure out. So the Greenway, yeah, there's a lot of cost upkeep to it afterwards. And that comes down to is that worth the quality of life to have stuff like that? Same thing we're going to face with the water park and all. But for the water park thing, with this right now, continuing it for me is just the thought of knowing that everything I've heard so far is to have something there, whether it's a theater thing or whatever. So.
All right, get this guy, get him.
Nope.
Jason, I have a couple of comments on this. First of all, this is really just giving permission to apply for the grant. That doesn't even mean we're going to get it. So, we've got to keep that in mind as well. This is no guarantee of money, but there is a deadline on the grant. We want to apply for the grant. That's my first thought. Second thought, going back to Chuck's point, my concern with how the Greenway is right now is there's no end point. It kind of just stops. And so we need to finish it. And I think even if we don't end up with the water park exactly as it is, there's parking over there, at least it's an ending point of the Greenway. So I feel like it's still unfinished the way it is right now. So anyway, regardless, I think we need to do something with the Greenway, but we don't even know that we're going to get this grant. So I think we need to apply for it and at least open that window.
More discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. On to item E, Municipal Order 1226, Economic Development Fund Expenditure, Kitchen Food Company Payment.
Hopkinsville City Council hereby designates and authorizes up to $2,250,000 of economic development funds to fulfill the grant obligations of the second payment agreed upon in Municipal Order 46, 2020 Kitchen Food Company.
Motion.
Second.
I think this is kind of what we came up with on the council kind of saw it and everybody was kind of like, hey, good idea. So kudos to everybody for thinking of that. I also want to add into this, and Mayor, I know you're not here, so Mr. Body, I hope this also helps rescind the message to the department heads. Because when this was discovered on that Saturday, this was to assure that there was no cuts having to be taken from department heads in this upcoming budget year, because the message had been put out if the compensation went through, that would happen. One, I still don't think financially that would have been the case. But two, this was the backup to assure that that didn't happen. So in my opinion, if cuts come across to department heads through this next year, I just have questions about why that would be, because this was very specifically talked about in this area on this to help keep that from happening. So, Mr. March's point, we were looking out for department heads. I know you said employees as a whole, but department heads to help make sure they have what they need for your staff. So that's it.
I agree.
Operational funds as well.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, on to item F, Municipal Order 13, 2026, Future Fire Station Reserve Fund.
A municipal order directing payment of new occupational tax revenue resulting from removing the $10,000 maximum liability for the occupational license tax on net profits. Whereas the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky wishes to amend Municipal Order 54, 2022 as follows. Now therefore, Hopkinsville City Council hereby orders any and all additional revenue generated as a result of removing the $10,000 maximum tax liability on net profits be placed in the Future Fire Station Reserve Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Crabtree, second by Ms. Craig. Any discussion on this? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes. On to item G, Municipal Order 14, 2026, Financial Handbook Policies and Procedures Amendment.
Hopkinsville City Council hereby amends Section 16.5 of the Financial Handbook Policies and Procedures as attached.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Craig, second by Crabtree. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes also. On to item H, Municipal Order 15, 2026, Rescind Economic Development Fund.
A municipal order rescinding the establishment and uses of the Economic Development Fund, whereas the City of Hopkinsville, Kentucky established an Economic Development Fund, and whereas the City of Hopkinsville believes that the fund has served at the purpose intended and is no longer of use. Now therefore be it ordered that Municipal Orders 08, 2022 and 41, 2023 are hereby rescinded.
So moved. So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Smith, second by Crabtree. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. On to item 12 is other. Any council member have any business to bring up under other before we move to council member comments? Seeing no other, move on to council member comments. Anyone with council member comments? Crabtree.
I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to spend a day at Fire Station 5, getting the company I worked for went through CPR, first aid, AED training. Needless to say, Chief, the folks that I work with were blown away with not only the training and the quality of the training, but the building and the facilities. Whether we know it or not, we have a crown jewel of a training facility. And kudos to you and your staff, Chief. Thank you.
Any other council member comments?
Just one thing. I know we didn't really take a lot of time for discussion between municipal orders 9 and 15, but having chaired the committee for the economic development municipal order, I just wanted to thank the group that worked on that, because they did some really significant work, I think, to concentrate the efforts of our economic development in Hopkinsville from programs that had existed for decades, and then really set the tone and set the standard really for the economic development plan and how we will handle economic development as it approaches this council for decades to come. So beyond just saying thank you for all their hard work, Mr. Willen, helping to oversee what happened there, just wanted to give my thanks and congratulations on those two orders specifically.
More comments?
Hey Doug, is it okay if we get an appointment set up with Ms. Jones to figure out what's going on with her property? Okay, thank you.
I do have one question. When we had the last meeting, I asked the mayor if he would have his staff set up a meeting with council and solid waste. Has that taken place? Has that scheduling of those meetings taken place?
I haven't received an email from anyone.
Brian, has that taken place? Troy, would you please reach out to the mayor? He was going to coordinate a meeting with 6 council members and solid waste, specifically Clayton, Brittany, Brandy, and Travis, and then 2 additional ones was what I had asked for. It's been 2 weeks. It doesn't take 2 weeks to schedule a meeting. And I think the things that council needs to hear on that particular utility are important. Thank you.
Thank you, Crabtree.
Appreciate
Oh,
that.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
it just hit me when you said, Mr. Byron said Troy. I'm probably the last one to hear, but you're here. I got a message that said you were leaving. Is there truth to this message? Or are we not? I was told it was on social media. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I thought everybody knew but me for some reason.
I have told the mayor that 2026 would be my last year, and that was for him to announce to council.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it was on social media because it got sent to me.
Well, any more council member comments?
Yeah, Mr. Body, have we came up with a date for that lot next door town hall meeting yet? I know me and you discussed it when we was in a meeting together. We were saying about putting it all together to have another one.
Requesting another?
Yeah, no, I was just asking about have a date came up yet. Okay.
They're exactly the same as the neighbor of the east side. And that's what we did the last time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Body, is it possible that we could extend that to some other wards as well? I know I've had a couple of calls about the Lot Next Door program myself in Ward 3. So if we could piggyback with Mr. Vance, it'd be great. I'd really like to do that. Thank you.
Also, do you know when we'll get an update about the committee for the water park? Mr. Body?
Everybody at, Mr. Short.
Add it to the list.
Okay.
I'm just a fill-in.
Mr. Body wants to know.
Troy, you gonna leave tonight, ain't you?
It's over.
I'm done.
Any more comments tonight? And now move on to item 14, adjournment, Councilmember Crabtree.
The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you decide to do each day. With that, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
All right.